lived here when there was no hospital. And we begged, we borrowed, we never stole, but we might have if we could have gotten away with it.
The old hospital was 55 years old and it was not up to date with the technology. We were having power shortages in it and having to move equipment out into closets for the lab. And
look at a trailer back of a semi truck is where the CT scan was in the street in a trailer.
They started noticing cracks in our old building and realized that once they got into the building that there was an underground river, a cavern, that the old hospital was built on, and so it was actually kind of sinking on itself.
It had a maximum capacity. At the time it was closed at 23 beds, and it was reaching, and it was really becoming fairly outdated. It was on pier and beam, if you can imagine that in this day and time.
Creaks when you walk down the hall. It didn't meet any of the national standards because they had all these rules and regulations for width of the halls and all this, but this was built in 1958.
So they decided to either fix the old one or build a new one, and lucky for us, they chose to build a new one.
Then to look at the issue of replacing the facility itself, the building itself.
When we went out for construction companies, nobody took our project.
I think that as we were starting to plan and look at what we need to do to build the hospital, I guess I'm a strong believer, and I think our board backed this completely, is that you really need expertise, people that know how to build hospitals and know what goes into a hospital.
We pretty much begged Lott Brothers to come look at us, and man, are we glad that they came out here. And they just finished a project up the road from us and had good success there.
We had interest from major, large companies throughout the United States, actually, of interest in building the hospital for us. And then Lott Brothers was more of a local and a smaller company. They actually prepared a detailed preliminary budget to show that they could build this hospital for the amount of money that we felt we could afford to build a hospital for. No one else did that. And I can tell you that impressed everybody at the hospital here, because we knew then we were inside of being able to do what we wanted to do for the dollars we had to spend.
we sat down as a team, each department did, and Lott Brothers was very patient with each of us.
One of the nice things through not only HKS but through Lott Brothers was that they were able to finish out the project ahead of time.
The hospital was built in 11 months, and that included tearing down the old hospital and building a parking lot.
Here, man, it has been fantastic, and I sure am glad that nobody else took it, because I don't think we'd have the same experience with another company. They've been great.
Hello, my name is Teresa Callahan, and I'm the CEO here at Ariane General Hospital, and I would like to welcome y'all to our brand new hospital. This is my radiology department. We used to have the CAT scan at the old hospital sitting out on the streets, and now what we've got is she's got 2 great rooms. This is all new equipment. Over at the old hospital, we had a very small little room with about 3 or 4 pieces of equipment in it. We did not have any room to walk a patient, but Jason now has a very open room. We can actually stabilize a patient a little bit better here because we are able to have more of the electronic equipment, more of the state-of-the-art equipment here, and our doctors feel more comfortable in keeping a patient now.
You know, we just are so very, very fortunate to have a hospital in a town of the size of Hamilton. It's just amazing.
2005, I had this accident with the golf cart turning over on me, and I had to go to the hospital for care.
Lives out on a ranch by herself, and so what had happened was she was in a golf cart kind of going around on the land, checking on the animals, and the golf cart slid off the side and went down into a ravine, and she kind of went with it as it rolled down. And so she came in here with lots of orthopedic injuries, burns, and was in here for 1 to 2 weeks in our hospital with care.
But they were wonderful. There wasn't a person up there in that hospital that wasn't wonderful, down to the people mopping the floor. All the doctors came by to see me and make sure I was doing well, and had lots of friends and nurses and things that came by to see me. And
seeing a patient from start to finish is very fulfilling, both being their friend and being their physician, because you get to learn the injuries they came in with, how they ended up, if they had any complications, if they had anything unusual. You get to handle it all here. In bigger institutions, I would be consulting specialists and I wouldn't be able to take care of her the whole time. I think there would be a break in her care. And so being here, I enjoy taking care of and from start to finish. And I think it's better for the patient too, because there's better continuity and she gets better care overall.
We're just getting all these new little guys come in that live here. I mean, I think that says a lot for the community to have somebody come back after they've graduated and gone off to college and come back and be a doctor.
A lot of times it's people, when I'm taking care of a patient, someone I know from the community, know from church, know from activities or that kind of thing.
The convenience not only of having a facility like this and physicians in the community is that you basically keep the patients in their community, which not only for their health is a benefit, but for also their moral support and social support for them.
I got a little crazy on it and just I went over the handlebars and I broke my femur, and I didn't really know it at first, but I tried getting up and just wobbled, just the leg just kind of flipped over. And
significant, the x-ray showed a pretty significant femur fracture, and he went up and I think that night he had it rotted.
Flew out of here to Odessa, and by the time I got there, it was already dark and it was getting too swollen, and they were afraid. They didn't want to wait, you know, they didn't want to wait anymore. So I finally went into surgery at 1 in the morning. They had put 2 screws and a titanium rod in my leg, and it'll be there forever.
I think as far as the hospital goes, the main thing we have now is, you know, a higher level of care that we can take care of more seriously ill patients.
Compared this hospital to the old one, this one is much better. It is more space, a real comfortable place, you know. But with this hospital being here, it's good. It's really good that I can just come from home here, and it's a great thing that this hospital is here. So.
Unfortunately, Mr. Peel developed a condition called chronic lymphocytic leukemia. And unfortunately, he has progressed to a point where he required more care and specialist care.
And they monitor you real often, so consequently you have an opportunity to know the nurse real well. So we're real lucky there that we have the help that we can do that here. Otherwise, I'd have to go to Houston or to Waco.
Mr. Peel on several occasions become anemic, and we've been able to transfuse him, and we can give him extra blood so his counts don't get too low. We've done that here at our local hospital. He'll come in, get his blood, we'll monitor it, send the labs back to his oncologist, and he doesn't have to leave and go 2 hours away, check into a big hospital.
As I mentioned before, we're recruiting specialties that are hard to find, like a cardiologist, an orthopedic surgeon, nephrology. So the advantage of doing that and be able to find those physicians is that basically you don't have patients having to travel for 2 hours.
We have been connected with RN a long time. I met my husband here, and he was in the hospital. He was in the other hospital for 15 months. He was what you call a border patient, and we paid for him just like he was at a nursing home. But it was here, and I got to be with him every day, so it worked out great for us to have him here. But this is in loving memory of my husband, Thad Morrow, and donated by the Morrow family. And it's very special to me is this room.
Aproximadamente un año, un mes, recaí por la cuestión de que me iba a ser operado de mi vista y resulta de que salí con problemas cardiovasculares, atendido muy atinadamente también por este hospital. Gracias a este hospital, Fort Duncan Medical Center, alcancé todos los beneficios que me brindaron para salvar mi vida. Posteriormente regresé de la ciudad de Laredo, Texas, aquí al hospital con una severa infección en mi pierna del lado izquierdo, donde me extrajeron material para curar mi corazón, a lo cual caí en manos de muy buen personal, que es el sistema hiperbárico, dado que pues nunca preguntaron, como les digo, si traía dinero o no traía. Me atendieron, me salvaron mi pierna. Estoy muy agradecido, pero muy agradecido siempre, estaré de ellos, porque aquí estoy vivo, estoy con mi pierna normal. Entonces, no tengo más palabras para agradecerles. Me siento muy satisfecho de todos en general. Y vuelvo a repetirlo, no tenemos por qué ir a San Antonio. Aquí tenemos un gran hospital que tenemos que darle valor a nuestra gente, a nuestro mismo pueblo.
Well, I just can't say enough positive things about the hospital. Everybody cares that you're there.
And I had wonderful care at the Hamilton Hospital. We have wonderful doctors.
They treat me real good and all that.
It's a great thing that this hospital is here, so.
My impression when we moved to this place is, why didn't we do this 5 or 10 or 15 years ago?
Lott Brothers did an excellent job. I think really what became even more important to me was how quickly that they responded after we came into the facility.
And still we came out overall under budget, and that is allowing us now to add some additional things here to the hospital.
Yeah, you know, on time and under budget are things that taxpayers like to hear, and that's where we are.
They ended up building this hospital on time and under budget, and nothing pleases the board more than a record like that.
This hospital is just, we're just so blessed to have this, you know. It's such a beautiful place.
Gracias a Dios y gracias a ustedes, estoy aquí.